Welcome to Lifted, elevating the game. Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 now of the Lifted podcast, interview number 2. And I have some special guests with me today from abroad, from the UK, but we'll get to that in a bit. I want to, again, thank you all for the support on the first interview with Durab. It was a smashing success. So many people have come forward and they loved the how real it was, how we talked about the history of volleyball and now the future, and it was just amazing, and everyone was so welcoming and supportive of the podcast. So I thank you all for watching. YouTube views are in less than a day, they're over 400. So it's been amazing. At the same time, it's been a lot of people, there's so much more information on Nasiha, which we will have Mohsin Karmali on in the next interview, hopefully alongside our guest, to talk about Nasiha a little bit more and just, kind of give everyone an understanding of what their mission is. And also Orlando, we're going to have some rules out. We're going to have some things we're going to discuss on the next podcast. Rule changes. I know I brought that up last time as a little teaser, but there will be more moving forward. But yeah, we're here today, and we're here with two guys on the front line of Stanmore Jafferys, Elegance and Faz. For those who don't know, Faz is his real name is Faz Muhammad Ali. He told me not to say the first name because nobody would know. So Faz Muhammad Ali, and Elegance's real name is actually, his first name is Elig. His last name is Ans. So that's his true. No, I'm just kidding. His real name is Muhammad Mehdi Ghulam Hussain. I promise you, if anybody if it's only the UK people know that, because nobody else knew that. But talk about a nickname, man, like that fits you perfectly. Elegance could not be any better. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about all that stuff. But thank you guys for coming. Assalamu alaikum, and thank you for being here.
Alaikum salam.
Alaikum salam.
We'll start off with obviously the last tournament was in memory of Fuzzle, and Fuzzle played a huge role in Stanmore Jafferys, played a huge role in the upbringing of a lot of the youth, a lot of your guys' games. Oleg, we'll start with you. What is your fondest memory of Fuzzle, and what did he mean to you and Stanmore Jafferys?
Where do I start with Fuzzle, man? I have so many memories with Fuzzle. But, I never realized what Fuzzle actually meant to me until a couple of months ago. So I was going through a very challenging time, like we all do.
Of course.
Sometimes life is a little bit tough.
Exactly.
And I remember saying to my wife that the only person that I would have been able to speak to and share my troubles would have been Fuzzle.
Yeah.
And I think he would have been the only one who would have been able to understand where I was coming from.
100%.
So that was Fuzzle for me, he was a true friend.
Yeah.
And there are some days when I'm just driving and I remember him.
Yeah.
And tears just start rolling down my cheeks, man.
Yeah.
And I think, in the 35 years that I've lived, I don't think anyone has ever had an impact like that on me.
100%.
And since his passing away, I've missed him dearly.
Yeah.
And till this day, I miss him every day.
For sure.
So Fuzzle was that guy who, he was just there for me.
He was just there for you. Yeah.
He was just there. Yeah.
Faz, what are your memories of Fuzzle, or at least give me one memory that sticks out?
One anecdote of Fuzzle.
Yeah.
The one that really just sticks to mind is the one where I was having the worst day of my life at work. It was just terrible, and he used to work down my road.
Okay.
So the Zahra Trust office is literally just down my road, and
right.
I was driving home from work, and he must have been pulling out of the drive of Zahra Trust, and I just bumped into him on the road, and he was like, "Stop! Let's sit down. Let's have a quick chat." So I followed him round, And I was like, he was like, look, where have you been? I haven't seen you for such a long time. You used to come to the office all the time, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, you know, things been rough with work. And I don't even know what he said to me, you know,
Yeah.
but in those 20 minutes, he just turned my mood completely upside down. Yeah. I left like so happy. And that's the thing with him. It's not what he said, but it's how he made you feel.
Yeah.
You know, he managed to make everyone feel special and understood. And that's the kind of, you know, relationship we had with everyone at Stanmore Jafferys. But, you know, you saw it yourself, Sal, at Wilaya, you know, like everyone had a story, an anecdote, or
man.
something to share. And you could feel the energy there. Like, you know, everyone loved him and he meant a lot to everyone.
It was unbelievable to see how many lives he's touched. And also it's funny because you would think in the UK, obviously he has touched so many people because he's been around you guys, but even abroad, like here, like so many of us, even if we saw him 2-3 times a year, it was just like, it's just like he resonated with you all the time. Like he was in the back of your mind. He was the epitome of volleyball. And I think about it today. If I was doing these podcasts and he was around, he'd be the first guy to message me and tell me, "You're doing a darn good job. Keep going." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
And that's just how he was. We'll talk now about your guys' start in volleyball. We'll start with you, Faz. Faz, known as a soccer player, football player, but your beginning of volleyball, where did it really start? Where did you gain that passion to start playing volleyball? Was it because you were playing football with the Blues and they kind of just brought you in, or did you always have a passion for it?
That's a good question, Sal. So interestingly enough, it all started in New York.
Okay.
So I was 10 years old, and my dad and my uncle were playing for Stanmore Jafferys. So we flew out to New York, you know, like it's my first time in the Big Apple from Gas, you know, and I'm seeing this volleyball tournament. Like, crazy, yeah. So I'm seeing this tournament and I'm like a young kid and I'm watching all these men like jumping around and just like hitting the ball. And, you know, obviously I'm young at that age, but seeing my dad and my uncle every weekend going to volleyball practice and then seeing this in life, real life in person, it was amazing, right? And I remember watching like, you know, Abbas Virani, Akil, my dad, my uncle, like PK, Mzee, all these guys from Stanmore like play against the top teams and they go to the finals that year. I think they played like Arcades in the finals and Hussein Rai finished them off. But you know, it was amazing. It was still like brilliant. So that was where it all started, you know, for me. That's where the spark kind of set. And then, you know, later on in life, it was all about football, as you said. Like, you know, we just used to play football like 4 or 5 times a week. It was all about football. And when the Blues came from Nairobi, then we used to play football together. We used to play in the league. First, we used to be on opposite teams. I think he was drafted in by, you know, Sublo.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So Sublo, like he knew them from Nairobi time, and so he drafted them all in. We didn't have a clue who these guys was. They came on, and they just finished everyone off on the football pitch. And then as things transpired, you know, we started to play football together in the same team, and then it started happening. You know, you've heard the story before. Oakington Manor, you know, Hussein Teja and Murtaza Varani used to organize a session for us as a youth. We used to all play together on a Friday night, and yeah, the rest is history, man.
Oleg, can you tell me first? I want to know, where did this nickname come from? Who put this on you? What is elegance? Well, we all know what it means, but where did it truly come from?
That's a good question, and you know what? I think Faz can answer that question.
Okay, Faz, tell
them the story, man.
I had a feeling you were going to bring this up, Sal. So this was one summer where I went to Mombasa on a holiday. I don't know how old I was, like 19, 20. In my prime, you know, and Elegance was in his prime as well. Or actually, at the time, it was Mohammed Mehdi. You know, Mohammed Mehdi was in his prime.
Yeah, Mohammed Mehdi was in his prime. Yeah.
Elegance
has yet to reach his prime.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he picks me up, you know, from the airport and puts his shades on. He's in his Mark II, his Toyota Mark II, you know, not insured, proper African boy.
Yeah.
And just cruising on the streets, and he just says to me, you know, guys, it's all about being elegant.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like out of nowhere. I'm like, okay, I'll go with that. You know, elegant, all right. And then that was the word of the trip, you know, like elegance. Everything was elegance with him.
Yeah.
And he was look. One thing about Mohammed, you have to know, that when he was in his prime, he was like literally, you know, the Don. Yeah,
Yeah.
like we would go to the
Yeah.
football pitch like half an hour late. We'd walk on the pitch, score a header, and we'll be out of there. And like, you know, like everyone had so much. This guy was like literally at his prime at that time.
Right.
So he was like the CR7 of Mombasa, you know.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
so then the name didn't actually stick with him. That word was like, you know, you have a word of the trip when you're with the
Yep.
boys.
Yep.
So he came to the UK, I think, a couple of years later
Mhm.
to study.
Mhm.
And I must have gone to his house. He was sharing a house with like 4 other Africans.
Right.
And I went to his bathroom and I saw this gel. So I picked it up and it said Elegance on the gel. And I was
No
like, this
way.
kid, he's literally, the guy's got the word that he's been
Yeah.
using from this gel.
Seriously.
And then from that moment, it was like Elegance. You know, we used to call him Elegance, and then it kind of transmuted to like Elegance.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Eleg and Eleg. There's all these variations.
There's so many variations of it, yeah, which is amazing. And to be honest, if there's one nickname you want out there, it's Elegance. Like, I mean, that's the coolest freaking nickname around.
I mean, I think it's stuck as well because the way he played volleyball.
Exactly, it was very elegant. Also, yes,
exactly.
100% agree. It's so much with so much class and almost natural. You're not trying. It almost feels like you're never trying. That's what it looks like. Like, when did you start playing the game of volleyball? Because there are rumors. When I came here, I heard that you actually would come here in the summers and they would take you to Charleston and have you play outdoors with them. And they claim that they taught you how to play the game of volleyball. Is that true?
No, I'm sure they'd like to think so.
Yeah.
But I did visit Orlando 4 or 5 times. I have visited in the past. My cousins live there.
Right.
I don't know if you know them, the John Mahmoods.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So I came to visit them. And I did play volleyball with the Orlando guys, but that's not where I started. I actually started in Mombasa, and that was probably at the age of 16.
Okay.
And mostly that was outdoor volleyball.
Right. When you ended up moving to the UK, when did you really just go straight into volleyball?
Yes, I moved when I was about 20.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I probably started playing volleyball when I was, straight away, yeah.
Did you like the
Pretty
the indoor style right when you moved to the UK, or were you like, this is going to be hard to get used to?
No, it took me some time, man. The game was way too fast.
Yeah.
And it was a very different game. But I loved it though. I really enjoyed playing it. So
I feel like you're the type of player that while the game is so fast in everyone else's eyes and mind, you just seem to slow it down. Like the way you play, the way you walk around. Yo, it was so hot in that gym in Stanmore, but you had your zip up on the entire time. No matter how many balls were being, you never took that zip. You like, people would think like, how is he gonna dive with that jacket on? And you were doing everything. Does the game almost slow down for you at times, or is it just you play with so much swagger?
No, I don't think it's that. I just think that you see, the thing is, I just try and get into that state of flow.
Yes.
Yeah. And once you get in the zone, then in the words of Amir Ali, you start to see the ball as a balloon.
Yeah, that's very true.
And so once I'm in the game and I'm there and I'm seeing the ball, yeah, then things just happen naturally.
It just happened naturally. Yeah. Faz, you start playing volleyball with the Blues, you start getting into it, blah, blah, blah. And then you end up on the A team. What was that like for the first time being on the A team and having an opportunity to make a run for a championship, which I believe was 2014 Al-Wilaya? What was that time like getting onto the A team? Did you think that volleyball for Stanmore at least would pick up like how it has?
Yeah, I had no idea what it would become at that point. I mean, I think Wilaya time, yeah, as in it already kind of exploded slightly. But
yeah,
prior to that, I think it was all about
Mammoth, right?
The fact that we were building up on this relationship, that we used to play football together.
Yeah.
And like, the thing is, like, these guys like Blues and Kumail, they're like super talented, right? Naturally.
Yeah.
Like Kumail, like you give him a pair of goalkeeper gloves, you give him a cricket bat, you put him on a carom board,
They're
he'll
gonna
just
make it
smash
work.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, and the Blues as well, like when you see them on the football pitch, they naturally got it. So for me, it was all about hard work has to beat talent.
Yeah.
And to get into that team, it was all about working hard, going to practice, hitting the gym, whatever I have to do to try and make it. So it was, I think, easier for them to just naturally go into the A team. And I think Amirali and Kumail kind of broke into the A team first, and then we kind of all followed after that. I think Amirali was like the first one to go in.
Yeah,
Played with Fuzzle and Stress and all those guys in New York. So it was a journey, man. And you never knew if you were gonna make it at that point.
Yeah, because you look at Stanmore Jafferys and you look at the Blues are their brothers, right? Kumi and Khalil, brothers, right? Like you are almost like the lone wolf that made it in, and almost like you can't rely on the name factor. You have to just build that name for yourself. I'm sure that was difficult in its own right? Because you have to almost fit in and fit into the puzzle.
Yeah, I mean, if you put it that way. I mean, people say that as well because Netties are brother-in-laws, and even Elegance is their cousin. Right?
Their cousin,
so,
yeah, exactly.
I'm like the lone wolf. You're right,
yeah.
but
yeah.
So I don't know. I think it was the fact that because we started like building on this brotherhood from such a young age,
right?
Like it was always about the love. It was always about the brotherhood, and we had like strong mentors like in the game, like Fazl Varani, like Abbas Varani, and all these guys that used to be there on a Friday night, to guide us and mentor us. So they kind of also help to dictate, who plays and who gets into the team.
Exactly.
But then afterwards, it's all about the fact that we just all came together. We love the sport and we were going on this journey together, kind of thing. Yeah.
Oleg, you start. You get your first shot on Stanmore A in New York, 2015, I believe. You play in that epic quarterfinal, deemed the greatest game on YouTube with that 3-game set against Orlando. And if you ask Orlando today, and if you ask KJ in particular, he always says that one of the hardest balls he's ever had to take was Elegance's third balls in the back center. That is the first time that a lot of us saw what you were all about. Didn't know what you were going to come in with. Yeah. We just always saw Mutz Blue back there, right? Or Stress or somebody else. We never saw you. What was that like when they told you right before the tournament or whenever they told you, like, listen, you're going to be the center. Here's your chance. Let's go. Were you nervous or were you ready for the challenge?
No, I was definitely nervous, man. If you think about it, it's the first time I'm playing Stanmore A.
Yeah.
In an international tournament.
Yep.
In New York, which is one of the biggest tournaments
100%.
out there.
100%.
And I've never played back center in a tournament. And there's a lot of expectation.
Right.
If you really think about it. So
yeah,
it was definitely, there was a lot of pressure. But, 6 months prior to the tournament, I was really working on my game.
Right.
If I don't know if you remember, but for the longest time I was in the B team.
Yeah.
And I just could not break into the A team.
Yeah.
And at the time, I used to think that the reason, I thought I was better than most of the players in the A team.
Yeah. Which I agree with now, by the way. Just letting you know. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. But the thing is, at the time, I really wasn't actually.
Yeah.
I used to think that, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
And one day, I think I was practicing, and I thought to myself, I thought to myself that I'm kind of deceived that I think I'm better and I deserve to be in the A team.
Yeah.
And I was very honest with myself, and I kind of switched my attitude, and I really started working on different areas of different aspects of my game.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, one of the areas that I worked on, which made a significant difference to my game, was inspired by Turab.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's hear this. Let's hear this one.
Yeah. So Turab in Wilaya, I believe it was 2013.
Yeah, 14. Yeah. I came with him. Yeah.
2014.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was watching him play, and you have to. Turab is one of the most good-looking players out there.
100%. Extremely elegant.
And yeah. and I was watching him, And it seemed to me that he would get into position very quickly and hit that ball.
Yeah.
And I think the reason for that was his the way he would it was his stance.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah, and he had his left leg, forward, back
Always
leg, and
forward.
his
Yep.
chest facing to the right.
Yep.
And believe you and me, I implemented that in practice, and that changed my whole game.
That's
And
crazy.
I think that's the reason why I was then drafted to play back center in New York.
Wow.
Is because
When you get onto this A team and you're playing in New York and you start to realize, like, okay, man, I belong, I can take points. After New York is done, was your thought process like, this is going to be my position for the future, or did you know that there could be a change?
No, I always thought that I would always, for a long time, I would be the back center.
Okay. Faz, will turn to you because he brought up Al-Wilaya 2014, and that was the first championship for you. And before I get too far ahead with what Stanmore Jafferys' timeline is like, I want you to touch on the Wilaya in 2014 and winning that first cup, because I think at that time, for you guys, you had won so many MAMPs already that it was becoming almost like, okay, they're going to win. MAMP is like, okay, if Stanmore Jafferys really shows up, they're going to win, right? And this is no offense to any of the other teams. But when you come in 2014 and have the opportunity to finally take one, what was that time like?
So I think there was this one MAMT where the A team, the senior players, kind of let all of us have our own team.
Yeah.
So it was just literally the A team that you see today, plus or minus maybe one or two players. And we went into this MAMT with like such high expectations, and we thought we're gonna do well. And that year actually Jafferys came to that MAMT.
Yes.
So we were like, we were gassed. We wanted to be there in the final with them. And we got knocked out in the first round. So it was a huge disappointment. It was one of those cold mornings in Oldham, like you've been there before, and I think it was Haydary and Zé Roshi was serving to us, and we were frozen. And they just finished us. And because of that game, I think Dubai were in our group as well, and we didn't get enough points against them. We split with them or something, and that's it. We were out really early in the tournament. So that failure really kind of got to everyone in the team, and we had to kind of overcome that. And we had to work on our game and work mentally to be like, this is that we can get over this. Like, we just reset, we readjust, reevaluate things, and we come back stronger. And so that's why that Wilaya meant such a lot to us all, because you kind of take that confidence hit. You think, okay, you know what, they've given us our team now, and we didn't perform. We went up to scratch. 100%. So that's where you have to kind of like push through and let that failure work to teach you lessons rather than to completely finish you off.
For sure.
And it was definitely an interesting tournament, because I remember obviously Stress was playing in our team then. And he obviously came to back center and hit the most amazing balls. I still
everything just turned the moment the moment Stress came in the center. Just like you guys clicked.
Everything just came together. And the rest was history. It was very poetic as well, man. Like the way that it all worked out for us.
100%. I think that was the beginning of the Stanmore rise in volleyball, right? Like, people go, okay, that team can really do it because you beat one of the best teams ever in Jafferys, and you've almost solidified yourself, right? Alec, when you come back from 2015, you guys had, mind you, this team has already won a trophy in 2014. So you're now becoming a piece of the puzzle in the back center. You come back and you no longer are playing back center in the next few tournaments, major tournaments. What was that adjustment like, number one? And what was that conversation like? What did they come and tell you? Like, hey, listen, we're going to take you out of center. What was their reason? Because to be honest, it's not like you guys failed, right? You played really well. It's just that you played Orlando in the quarters. And you still went to 3 games. What was that like for you? Was it almost a hit to yourself in terms of like demoralize you? Or were you like, okay, it's all good, I'll do what it takes for the team and I'll come back strong?
I think, Sal, it was a very gradual transition from back center to front line. After New York, I believe I was still playing back center. So 2016, I played back center.
Right.
2017, all the local tournaments, I was still playing back center.
Mm-hmm.
And I was still the best back center that we had at the time.
Right.
But what happened was in practice, I started getting a bit bored
Right.
of just hitting.
I feel you. I feel you on that. Hitting too many third balls, right?
Yeah, because now if you're just going to be hitting third balls,
Yeah.
you're not really improving your game much.
100%.
And obviously, if you got Amiral in front of you, Kumail on your left, you're not even defending.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think I wanted to improve my defensive game
Right.
because I was very bad defensively.
Right.
Even if you watch my New York games, you can tell straight away that I'm very bad at defense.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think I kind of took the initiative to build my defensive game,
Right.
and I started playing more in the front line.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, Murtaza and Abbas Ali's offensive game was
Better.
developing,
Yeah.
and getting better. And I think it also worked better for the team. When Murtaza was playing in the front and I was playing at the back, I think we had the front line was not as strong.
Yes. Yes.
But as I improved defensively
It
and
made more
Murtaza got
sense.
better offensively,
Yeah.
that switch kind of worked better for the team. So
Well,
I think it was a gradual process over 3 years.
What is you guys? You know, people think you guys are younger than you actually are because Faz looks like he just turned 20.
Yeah.
But I believe Elig, you're 35, right?
Correct.
And Faz, you're 33.
Me and Elig are the same age.
35. Wow. I wish I looked half as good as you at 35.
We are the oldest in the team.
Wow. I'm 31. And man, like you guys are 4 years ahead of me and still dominating in your prime, winning championships. That makes me feel real good. So thanks, guys. I love knowing that. But yeah, it's funny because you guys have actually been playing for a very long time, and you guys are still up there with the best talents in the world, and still obviously, like I said, winning championships. Faz, when you were playing now, Elig is now moving to the front, and Khalil Kaki is, building his game, and people see the way he is, and he posted a video. I remember one time of him hitting a third ball in practice, and people were like, social media at that time was like going off, like, who is this kid? Who is this kid? Pretty blue eyes, hitting the ball like Durab, all that stance, this, that. And people started wondering, like, wow, okay, Stanmore's not only getting better, but they're getting youth coming up and blah, blah, blah. And that obviously was a position where Elig and Khalil would come and fight for the spot that you had, Faz. Was there times where they were coming in and you were like, man, I got to step up my game because these guys are going to take this spot real quick if I don't?
Yeah. I love it. I love the competition. I love the fact that there's, youth coming up, challenging you for your spot. Like that's where I thrive, like, and everyone in the team, they need that. They need someone knocking at the door behind them
100%.
Because that's where you get complacency, and you feel like you've done enough to deserve your spot, but you should always be fighting for it, I think, at any time.
Yeah.
And it's hard because sometimes you have like immense players in the team where there is no one there. There is no one knocking at the door.
Yeah.
Kumar Kaki, Abbas Ali.
Yeah, true.
There's no one really there, like in our academy yet. I'm saying, and I hope to see the day. I hope to see the day that there is someone. But when Khalil and Elegance were fighting for front line, I think that kind of culminated all at the last Wilaya, where Abbas Ali was like, all right, no one's guaranteed a spot.
Yeah, you got to earn it in the tournament too. Yeah.
On the day. Yeah, literally on the day. Not even like the day before, or it's on the day how he feels we're playing, or how we ourselves obviously give him a bit of feedback and whatever, but no one's guaranteed a spot. So you're fighting until the last moment,
which
until
is crazy.
5 minutes
which
before.
Is crazy. Yeah, which is nuts. That's a scary feeling, because for a guy like myself who was never really, I mean, I fought for my spot in the beginning, but then I got it and then I kept it. Like you said, like there wasn't anybody really. The times where Jaxie or somebody like that was, up behind me, that's when I played my best, because I was like, I had to wake up. But at the same token, I'm in a similar situation now where I'm not guaranteed a spot on this team, right? I'm playing on the 18, but I got to fight for it even on tournament day. So it's like, I haven't been in that mental space. And to see you guys flourish in that mental space just shows that, you can do it. The day of is just your day. Like, you can just connect and you can make it happen. Elig, you got your first win, 2018, Al-Wilaya. What was that time like? How did you feel? Because now you're playing frontline, right? And now you're getting your shot to play the front line. You're playing on the A team. You played one game, I believe. Khalil played one game. You won the trophy. What was that first win like for you?
I think the game that I played, I think the reason that I played a good game was because the game before that was Birmingham All Stars.
Yes, yes.
Where I played front right, and with me, what I've noticed is whenever I'm playing front line, I'm a very slow starter.
Yeah.
It takes me a very long time to get into
that diesel. You got that diesel engine.
Exactly. I'm very slow, man.
Yeah.
And so I think I really enjoyed that semifinals because I was warmed up in the game before that.
Yep.
And we were both fighting for this. All three of us were fighting for those spots. Me, Kel, and Faz.
When you won, were you like, yes, I finally did it? I mean, you were 30 years old at the time, right? So like for you, it was like, okay, I got my one. That's that. Did it feel like that?
Yeah, a little bit. But you know, the thing is, Faz, Sal, when you're playing Al-Wilaya in the UK, and the only team that's in Al-Wilaya is Toronto Jafferys, and none of the international teams are present.
You didn't really feel it.
It doesn't really feel like a proper win, you know?
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
So
Faz, for you, you know, winning multiple in London now at this point, you know, in 2018 or whatever, did it almost feel like winning in the US was the next step, right? Because not even the US, but even Canada, right? Like you win one of those and now you've solidified yourself. But at some points, you guys have come here so many times and you've lost, and it's been close. You know, the last time in Minnesota was close. Did you feel like it was far-fetched, like that goal would almost seem impossible at some times?
I wouldn't say we've ever seen it as impossible. Definitely not. I think we aim to replicate how we play here in another country, and I feel like throughout our whole career, even when it comes to football, we thrive in our home turf.
Of
You
course,
know, like
course,
even when we've gone to Dubai or wherever it may be to play a tournament.
Yeah.
I think the furthest away from home we won a tournament is Birmingham. So, and that was talking about football. But,
exactly. Yeah.
So like going to Minnesota, we felt okay. You know what? We're in good shape here. You know, we were all like really like kind of fit. We were healthy at that point, as in like we were all training really hard.
Yeah.
So we went there to win, like, and you know, we were at the precipice of victory, in that semi-finals.
You were.
We could smell it, you know. We knew after that second game that, you know, we can do this. And so when it was taken away from us again, it was that feeling of, okay, failure, like overcoming this failure again.
Yeah.
And obviously growing from that. And it's even more tough because, you know, you sacrifice all that time, you fly away from your family, etc. And it's harder to do it away from home.
It is much harder. It is much harder.
So like, so the loss there was probably the hardest, I'd say.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and what made it worse was then there was 2-year break.
I know, it's not like you could have came back, right? Like, that's the sentiment I get from a lot of the Stanmore guys. Like that was the hardest loss for you guys, I think, to just, you know, swallow. But you came back stronger, right? Like winning abroad, does that affect you as much as everyone else? Like, is that a bucket list goal for you? Like, do you want to win a tournament outside of London, or do you just want there to be good teams in London and then you win, like Wilaya? Like this last Wilaya?
I would say definitely it's on my bucket list. I think winning at home is easier. Number one, we don't have all the teams coming. So we didn't have the likes of North this time. That's the top team to play. We also have that putty rule, which is in our favor, which I think makes a big difference.
I think it does too, 100%.
Yeah. So I think playing an international tournament and winning that tournament, that is something that that we would like to achieve. Man.
There's something about
then
that.
you can say, that you're one of the top teams. Man.
Exactly. I 100% agree with you. And it's funny because we had a conversation recently here about teams winning outside of their home. Durab has yet to do it. Orlando has done it once in Allentown. United Stars, yeah, I said they haven't done it. Jafferys are the only teams that really have done it. RKs usually don't do it. New York has really not done it. Allentown has really not done it. And Stanmore really hasn't done it. So it just shows that that's what made Jaffery so good, right? Like, because they could play villain and still win. And hey, man, like, it's hard. It's really, really hard to win away from home. Yep. Alec, you play front left at a very calm, even keel, cool pace. But the guy behind you is almost a maniac. Does it even out? Does that line just even out at some point because you're just you and he's just him? Like Kumail is just Kumail.
Yes. So I feel I couldn't play my game if I didn't have Kumail at the back.
Yeah, that's what I figured. It looks like he's like the driving force behind the way you play.
Yeah, and I'm so comfortable when he's behind me. So like I said before, it takes me a long time to get warmed up.
Yeah.
And you will find that when I start the game, there's a lot of balls that I don't take.
Yeah.
And Kumail's always at the back, supporting me. So so I think I play much better when I've got Kumail with me at the back. Sure. Definitely.
I'm sure. Faz, we come into Al-Wilaya 2022, 3 years after your Minnesota loss, after the pandemic. What were your expectations? Obviously, home tournament, you're expected, or at least a favorite, and people think you're going to win. But in your mind, was it like, wow, Stars are here, Orlando's here, New York is here, Jafferys are here, all these teams are here. Now is our time to make our official staple and make our name for ourselves. Like, damn, we can hang with the best of them.
I think this tournament was very different. I think because it was the whole, it was in memory of Fuzzle. Yeah, and that's all that was in my mind. I'll be honest with you. Like all of the other stuff, volleyball-wise, it just kind of dissipated, and it was all about winning this tournament in memory of Fuzzle. And actually, that kind of gave me more pressure because I wanted to do it and I had to do it. For him. And even after the tournament, the first place I went to was the graveyard, the cemetery, and I sat with him and I said, what, I know you orchestrated this win for us. And this was for you 100%. And so like all of the other noise all went away. It was literally just like making sure that we brought that trophy home for him.
Can you tell me, the people have seen you give away some potions and drugs to your teammates before? And I'm just like, it's potions, it's not drugs, guys. Before the games, what is that all about? Tell me, because I've heard about it, I've seen it. I want you to tell me now, once and for all, what's magical in those things.
So you have ears and eyes everywhere, don't you?
Everywhere, baby. Everywhere, baby.
So I'm an undercover biohacker.
Okay.
One of my roles on the team, official roles, Basically said, you're the official potion master of the team.
Yeah.
So I have to do research, some drug tests and making sure everything's legal. And then, we have like a nice arrangement of goods. So it's harder to get across the borders. So it's going to be difficult for Orlando.
Yeah.
But we do what we can.
Yeah. When are we going to get inside? You know what? I'll save that for the next interview I do with you. Or maybe you can just tell me when we see each other. It doesn't have to be on camera. Just, maybe you can slide me some, see if it works for me. Yeah, I'm probably going to need it this tournament. I'm playing for Orlando. It's like, I need any advantage I can get. I need it. Oleg, you started third this tournament, and Durab mentioned it in his last podcast. He just didn't expect you to come in. You show up in the semifinal, and you probably have the game of your life in the front left, and people were all over you guys, you and Faz both. They were like, holy shit, these guys are here, they're playing. And I think for the first time, two frontline guys in a while in Stanmore got their recognition. They were told that they were the reason for the win. And it's funny because I do an interview after the game, and it's Oleg and it's Amirali, but I was looking for Faz. I couldn't find Faz. So I wanted to interview you both because everyone was talking about how you both made the difference. Tell me about that tournament for you, Elig, this last Al-Wilaya. What was it like coming off the bench and then also being put into that semifinal and again exceeding expectation and just killing it and leading Stanmore to a championship?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, you know, I'm a very slow starter. So day one, I played a handful of games, and I just didn't get into any of the games, man.
Right.
And I wasn't playing well. Day two, the same. And I like to think that the master was keeping me for day three, you know.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
That's what I'm telling myself too. Yeah.
Yeah. So day three, we played the Orlando game in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, playing Orlando is always a pleasure, man.
Yeah, of course.
It's lovely to play them, man.
Your styles
And
just
because we
clash
play
so well.
exactly,
You know?
it's very similar, long
Yeah.
rallies, and I love playing Orlando. So I think I started the day. I played all three games with Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
I played all positions as well. I played front center, front
Yeah.
right, and front left.
Yes.
And I think that's what I needed, man. That's what I needed.
You just
I needed to get in the zone.
That's it. You just need the reps, right?
Exactly. And so when we started playing against United Stars, I was in, man.
You were just in it, right? I could tell with the interview when I interviewed you after and I spoke to you after, you're like, I was just in it, man. Like sometimes you're just in it and you time the ball right and you're just feeling good.
And Salman, you know, the crowd was behind us.
Yeah.
And the atmosphere was lit, man. It was something else.
The commentator was behind you, like,
oh man.
Yeah. The best is if you watch the interview with Elig afterwards, I'm like, you got a third ball and you hit it and you took a point. He's like, yeah, I think the netty should lift to me some more. You know, like I was like dying. Faz, you talk about your role on the team. You know, you're this, you know, this potion guy, black magic witchcraft dude. But at the same time, you are, I'm just kidding. At the same time, you are glue guys. You and Elegance look like you guys are glue guys, right? You need those guys to almost be the calm, cool, collected guys that you can turn to in a time of need and be like, you know, when you're stressed out, when you're nervous, when the anxiety's kicking in, you look at Faz, you look at Elik, and they're the same. They're just in it. They're in the zone. Nothing changes for them. You don't sense any sense of nervousness. You don't sense any sense of like them breaking down. You just see them the same throughout. And you need those guys on a team because if everyone looks nervous, if everyone looks anxious, your team's going to naturally break down. But if they turn to you and you two both are just, again, the front wings and you're the pillars and you're staying cool, do you feel like that is a major role that you and Elig play, Faz? Like, do you think that is a role that is very much defined to you both?
Yeah, I think in the team dynamics, Elegance and myself, I'd say more Elegance. Like, there's kind of no ego. There doesn't have to be that kind of like heavy player that you're gonna basically come out and make a statement. It's about doing your job, and that was something that Fuzzle always told me as well. He's like, listen, Faz, you need to practice and focus on defense. Yeah, like you don't give a point, the other team can't win.
Exactly.
So that's your game, and so when it comes to like even taking the slack or saying, you know, it's putting our hands up and saying it's our fault, we'll do that.
Yeah,
Elig and I, we're happy to be those guys. But when we look around the team, like it's so easy to get that confidence. Yeah, you've got
100%.
Mirali in the center. Like for me, one of the best players I've ever seen.
100%.
Yeah, like,
no doubt about it.
Like,
no doubt
me,
about
it. Just like graceful and
graceful.
You look behind me. I got Basri, I got Kumal, I got Muts Blue, who for me is one of the most improved players I've seen in the whole of Stanmore Jafferys A team. Like for me, hands down. So like you look around and you get this confidence, and I think it kind of just like bounces around. Like everyone's confident, just looking at each other.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's where I don't know. That's where I get.
Did you feel a sense of not so much pride, but a sense of like accomplishment when people were saying that the front line was the reason of this past championship? Did you feel like, okay, you know, I finally did my part, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it obviously the recognition is nice, but it's kind of like, yeah, I did what I was supposed to do. You know, like I did. Yeah, like what I'm in the team for. You know, like yeah. But
I can ask
It's
you.
always, I don't know. It's always a team thing, Sal, man. It's always like when I see it,
No
I see
doubt.
it like
No
the
doubt.
team play.
No
You know,
doubt.
the team
No
play.
doubt.
Bro.
Everyone needs to
Everyone.
do something to help the team win, and your role is that, and you perfected it, and you perfected it to the ability that now you've done it, and you won a trophy. And I guess you're right. Like, to you, you just did your job. Like, that's all you did, and you did it the best. So yeah, I get that. I want to ask you something. I know I made a comment about, and I can ask you, Faz. I made a comment about Bilal Kaba and Stanmore Jafferys, blah blah blah. We won't get into it. I see Bilal Kaba. Look at Mehdi's face. I see Bilal Kaba at your practices. Tell me what that's all about, because there's so many rumors swirling. Is he just there to play? Is he just there to help you guys and get you ready for the tournament? What's that all about?
So Bilal is like an old time friend. Like, you know, we've obviously
Yeah,
grown up playing volleyball together.
yeah, yeah.
He has that love for the game, and
Mm-hmm.
I know obviously we're obviously practicing for upcoming tournament, and you know we asked him, you know, would love for you to come and attend our practices.
Yeah,
Obviously his talent would raise the quality of the sessions,
yeah.
and yeah, it's brought an amazing edge to the games. Like the Wednesday sessions we've been having have been so much
I'm
fun
sure.
with
I'm
Bilal
sure.
there.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
And I know obviously that whole debate that we've had before, but you know what? Even I know you have eyes and ears everywhere anyway, but even ask Bilal, man, like the way Murtaza Blue is hitting third balls
Yeah, but
at our practice sessions. But wait, at our practice sessions, yeah. We just want to. I'm waiting for the day, and I feel like this tournament is coming up. I'm waiting for the day where he replicates it in full at a tournament, because we've seen glimpses of it. I
No
promise
doubt.
you, we've only
No
seen
doubt.
glimpses.
No doubt. No doubt.
But if he can replicate what he does at our practice sessions at a major tournament,
I want to
the
make something
debate's
clear.
over.
I want to make something clear. Okay, I agree with you. And people think when I said this Bilal Kaba thing, it was a shot at Mutz Blue. I don't know why they thought that. Mutz Blue is my favorite blue. Okay, you can take light blue, you can take baby blue, you can take all the blues in the world, and Mutz Blue, my favorite. Okay, but this isn't about Mutz Blue versus Bilal Kaba. This is about Bilal Kaba, and that's why I said what I said. I just said he was the best backline player in London. I didn't say anything about Mutz Blue, but you're right. I agree. Mutz Blue, super underrated. One of the classiest players, the super nice guy. Again, the best blue brother of all of them. Sorry, Amirli Abbasli Madi. But you know, like, he's just the same guy. He's just a cool dude, bro. Like, he's just like chilling, and he has his own vibe. So I agree with you. I just didn't know. The rumors were swirling. Again, the talks were there, the debates were there. You know, what is Bilal Kaba doing at your practice? But you know, maybe in the future, we'll see. I don't know. We'll come back to you, Alec. We'll talk about the future now, and that is Orlando. Tell me about Orlando. Tell me about, you just won, and 6 months later,
Yeah,
you have to defend that championship in a
yeah.
place where all the teams are pretty much showing up. What is this like? Is this more so like more pressure than before, where now not only do you have to win abroad, but there's a target on your back because now all these teams are coming for revenge? Or is it like, hey, man, we're away from home, we got to do our job?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's more pressure. There's always more pressure at home because the expectation is much higher.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it's going to be a very tough tournament, man.
Yeah.
Playing away, all the top teams are present. You've got Orlando. I hear they're training 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah, we are. Yeah. 8 days a week, bro. 8 days a week, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's going to be a tough tournament, but I think also at the same time, Stanmore Jafferys is playing the best volleyball that we've ever played.
Yeah.
And and after the Wilaya win, the confidence is high. So I think it's going to be an interesting tournament.
Yeah. 100%. Faz, the future of Stanmore Jafferys, your guys' careers, 35 years old. How many years you still think you guys got left in the tank?
I don't know, man. Like I'm waiting for these youth to come in and start spanking us, and you know, like getting us out of it. Like, you know, I can't wait to see that day, man. And you know, there are a few kids there I've seen in practice. They're gonna be big, inshallah. So
Do you see yourself, let's just say 5 years, right? You're 35, 40. Let's just say 40 is when you decide, maybe, you know what, I want to hang it up. does now till then make it seem like every tournament is like a must win? Like if I'm going to solidify anything, if Stanmore Jafferys is going to solidify anything, if our era, our generation is going to solidify anything for Stanmore, it is our duty in the next 5 years to win every championship possible.
Now, I don't think I've put that pressure on myself, or I don't think the team have either for themselves, because I think what we've done is we've achieved what we've set out to, which is create this brotherhood, create this this sports club, and this association with the club. The fact that you're honored to represent the club, and that's something that we feel like we've achieved now. So
yeah, for sure.
We just want to see the next generation come up and have that same feeling and sentiment towards the club.
Yeah.
Represent it at international tournaments like we have, and have love for the game, man, because we all have love for the game. That's not going to go when you're 40, 45.
100%.
It's always going to be there.
100%.
I think you just serve in different capacities, and
for sure.
Yeah, only.
Yeah, I totally understand what you mean, Faz. I get it. Like at some point in your career, you start to turn and do something else for the team, like someone like Fuzzle did, right? Like at 5 years from now, you could be playing a different role entirely, like Mutz Virani or Abbas Virani or Fuzzle, or those guys were still by your side. Elig, you have targets on your back. We talked about this. You have new players on your team. I heard Madi Blue is on the team. What is your take on what's going to happen? Is a repeat on the way? Are you guys going for back-to-backs?
Well, we'd like to think so. So we now have 5 players in the front line.
Yeah.
We've got me, Amir Ali, Faz, Mahdi Blue, and
Khalil.
Who's the 5th player?
Khalil.
And Khalil, of course. Yeah, so I know. I think it's on the day. The thing is, we have, like Faz said, we try and put our egos on the side.
Yeah. And
whoever's playing well on that day deserves to play.
100%.
And everyone is playing for the team.
Yeah.
And Mahdi Blue, by the way, is playing really well right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think on the day, whoever's playing well will get that spot, and we'll all compete for it definitely. But yeah, we'll see on the day.
Well, we're done with the main part of the interview. We'll go into the rapid fire. Faz, we'll start with you. First thing that comes to your mind, but you know what? Like, you can give me a sentence if you want. You're a frontline guy. Give me the top 3 frontline players in the game. No particular order.
Amir Ali.
100%,
hands down. Jivy. I think Jivy is one of the big boys out there. It's hard. Khizr, KJ, Hilal, all of them.
Tough. It's tough.
I'm right in front of you, Faz.
It's tough, man.
It's tough.
Don't put me on the spot.
Elig, you're a hitter. Top 3 hitters in the game today.
Oof.
Doesn't need to be a center. Just needs to be a hitter.
Jivy. Mutz Blue.
I like that.
And Jabir Alidina.
Yeah, that's different. I like that one.
Yeah, and actually Jabir gave me a bit of a hard time in that game against United Stars.
Jay, save this for the future. No one will ever say this ever again. So cut the clip, keep it, save it on your phone. Faz, favorite championship?
The Al-Wilaya, 2022.
Yeah, fair enough. Elig, back center or front line? If you had to choose one for the rest of your career, back center or front line?
Front line, back center against Orlando.
Say that again?
Front line. But I want to play back center against Orlando.
I like that one. Faz, team you'd play for besides Stanmore? Which team would you like to have played for if Stanmore didn't exist?
Orlando.
I like that. I think that would fit well. Alec, best netty in the game today.
The Orlando Netty. What's his name?
Mikhail Darcy?
Mikhail?
Yeah.
Mikhail, yeah.
You won best netty? Yeah. Faz, best hitter you've faced in your career.
The one I've given the most points to, Ahmed Suma. Allentown.
That's beautiful. I love
He's
that
destroyed
answer.
me.
I love
He's
that
destroyed
answer.
me before.
Alec, best game of your career.
Stanmore Jafferys, United Stars semifinals, Al-Wilaya.
I like that. That's up there. Faz, last one for you. Bigger rivalry for Stanmore. Is it Orlando or is it Jafferys? It's a tough
I say
question.
now it's Orlando. Now it's Orlando.
Right? Yeah. I like to make you guys think. I like that you're taking your time on this. Alec, last one for you. You had a choice. Would you like to start the entire tournament or come off the bench and do what you did in Al-Wilaya?
Come off the bench and play day 3 all the way from the start.
Fresh legs.
Yeah. I'm getting old now.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. Yeah, that's it. Thanks, guys. See, like it wasn't that bad. You guys were stressing out for no reason. It wasn't that bad.
You make it easy for us, Al. You make it easy.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on. Give me, both of you, one last prediction. First, we'll start with Elegance. Finals. Who's in the finals? I don't want a champion. I just want to know who's in the finals this time around.
I'd like it to be Stanmore, Orlando.
I think so too. I think I would like that as well. Faz?
Stanmore, Orlando.
Oh,
Hands down.
Okay. Let's not forget about United Stars. Let's not forget about North. You know, Lombardo.
No, it's what I want.
I think so.
It's what we'd like, you know.
That's what you would. Yeah, I could see that. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate your time. I'm sorry. I know it's a busy time for everybody, but thank you. And I hope you enjoyed yourself. And I can't wait to see you guys in a couple of weeks. Any parting words, Alec, for the fans? Any parting words? You know, everyone wants to hear from you. You don't talk much.
For the fans.
You have a lot of fans, by the way.
Let me think about this one.
Okay, Faz, anything for the fans?
I'll finish off with a quote from Fuzzle himself. He said, "We are where we are because of our choices.
Yeah.
We always have a choice.
100%.
It's the choices we make that define us." Something to ponder on.
Amazing. I've heard him say that, and it is so true. Alec, anything you want to say before we leave?
I just say that I will try and showcase elegance of Wilaya in Orlando.
Inshallah.
For the fans.
Thank you, man. Thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Next week, Fayaz Tower, Toronto North, guest number 3. It's going to be a good one. You know, Fayaz, no filter, baby. He's going to say what he wants to say, and North is coming back, and it's going to be nice to see them at a tournament again after so long. And one time before we leave, one Surah Fatiha for Marhum Fuzzle, Virani, and all Marhumin. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys soon. Good night, everybody, and I love you all.
Thanks, Salman.
Thank you.
See you soon, inshallah.